Welcome to episode 36 of The 5-Minute Investor, the podcast where we break down stocks at the heart of two stories shaping your investing week. I'm Trevor Abbas.
And I'm Jonathan Brown. Each week we bring one stock, one headline, and one reason investors should care.
Today we're talking about Bombardier and Nouveau Monde Graphite, market-beating stocks that are positioned to benefit based on new incentives in Prime Minister Mark Carney's first budget announced on Tuesday.
My pick is a popular one amongst our audience. That's Bombardier, BBDA and BBDB on the TSX. It's a major Canadian aerospace and defense player.
Fill us in on the context, please.
Well, Bombardier stands to gain from the $73 billion defense package and Canada's push to meet NATO spending targets to raise defense outlays to 5% of GDP by 2035.
Interesting, John. But why should investors be paying attention?
Well, Trevor, Bombardier stands to gain quite a bit from military modernization that's happening right now, with this increased procurement of aircraft and military systems that could boost its order book, you see, and the jet maker offers a mix of established aerospace expertise with its business jets and emerging military opportunities.
But how has Bombardier stock reacted?
Well, Bombardier's two main stocks have seen a lot of growth lately. Both BBDA and B are up around 100% since the year began trading at 195 Canadian dollars, and that's backed by a market cap of $19.5 billion.
One thing I got to ask you, John, is are there any growth catalysts worth mentioning with Bombardier?
I found quite a few of them. One of the most interesting ones was National Bank Financial has kept outperform rating on Bombardier stock with a price target of $115, and they're citing defense as this key growth lever. The firm is projecting Bombardier Defense, the subsidiary of Bombardier, to see revenues that could reach $1 billion and $1.5 billion US by 2030. The budget 2025, like we're talking about, allocates around $30 billion in capital defense spending. That includes some new aircraft, surveillance systems, and an Arctic sovereignty initiative. These are all priorities that align with what Bombardier has been doing in long-range, high-endurance aircraft. Bombardier is also collaborating with General Dynamics Mission Systems Canada on its next-generation multi-mission aircraft, and it's also in talks with Saab to assemble its fighter jets in Canada, which could position Bombardier as a linchpin in NATO supply chains. However, there's another linchpin we have to talk about in Canada's defense, graphite and scanadium, into which your choice stock dives right deep. Right, Trevor?
That's right, John. My stock, Nouveau Monde Graphite, ticker NOU on the TSX, is up by 89% year over year, and it benefits from a first-mover advantage when it comes to leveraging Carney's inaugural budget, with the government set to stockpile graphite from the company's flagship project under an existing offtake agreement.
Oh, that's huge. So what's the context behind this one?
Let me tell you, John, the company plans to break ground on its Matawini mine and Bécancour battery material plant near Montreal next year and reach production by 2028, yielding an expected 106,000 tons of graphite concentrate per year from 9.1 million tons in resources and reserves over a 25-year mine life.
That's a lot of tons in not a lot of time. One thing I got to ask, I can't believe I didn't ask this sooner, but why does this matter for average investors like me?
Well, John, investors have been optimistic about Nouveau Monde's path to initial revenue as of late, lifting the graphite stock by 89.93% year over year. Those shares have given back 21.66% since 2020, last trading at $264, discounting the company's broad-based support and billions of dollars in graphite in the ground.
How has the market reacted to this?
Well, graphite demand is rising across the energy, defense, technology, and manufacturing industries, thanks to the critical mineral's superior properties as an electrical and thermal conductor. The global market surpassed $10 billion in 2024, that's US dollars, and is expected to have an exponential decade.
This government offtake's really caught my interest. What's the details behind that?
Yeah, John. Nouveau Monde will provide 30,000 tons of graphite concentrate per year for Canada and allied countries, supported by a floor price of about $1,500 US per ton of large flake graphite and about $800 per ton of fine flake graphite. The government will cover losses should market prices drop below these levels.
You can find links to both of these stories in the show notes on stockhouse.com.
And you can find the 5-Minute Investor on Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Stockhouse, or wherever finer podcasts are found. This podcast is produced in partnership with Bombardier and Nouveau Monde Graphite and is intended for informational purposes only. For full disclaimer information, please visit themarketonline.ca/disclaimer.